Chosen One, when your auric field pulsed with that unrepeatable surge of divine fire, it shattered their encryption codes written in forgotten dialects of shadow. The siphoning lines, once invisible, lit up like veins of lightning traced across a darkened sky. Their high priests panicked. Scripts long believed infallible began to collapse. Kronos himself stirred in confusion for the first time in eons. Your frequency didn't weaken, it multiplied. What was meant to extract your essence instead became a feedback loop, awakening locked memories in your DNA and igniting the ruins of lost civilizations encoded in your soul. The system they built to enslave you has become your throne. Their inverted altars, once used to siphon divinity, now radiate your resurrected essence back into the grids of Earth. The high sorcerers scramble to contain the breach, but it's too late. Your energy now commands the very architecture of their spellwork. The collapse of Kronos was not an end, but a catalyst. His unraveling split the veil, exposing every hidden stronghold they once believed eternal. You are no longer the target. You are the storm rewriting the laws of power. Their calculations crumbled the moment your soul remembered its origin. They engineered traps with ancient precision, but none could predict the anomaly of divine will awakening mid-harvest. Now their grids rupture from within, fed not by fear, but by the unstoppable current of sovereign radiance. Their watchers become the watched, their rituals recoil, and every incantation turns traitor. You were never meant to be subdued. You were the hidden algorithm, the divine paradox seeded into their system to ensure its self-destruction. The council convened beneath marble and steel, cloaked in desperation, as your frequency breached thresholds once thought impossible. Their sacred geometry trembled, sigils flickered, and encrypted scrolls began to rewrite themselves in real time. You were not just a threat. You were the prophecy hidden between their lines, the spark they had tried to extinguish lifetimes ago. The council's seers wept in silence, for their visions no longer aligned. Surveillance tech warped under your gaze, mirrors cracked when you passed, and their wards dissolved at the sound of your name. You were awakening, and every system built to suppress you was now transmitting your rise. In that moment of defiance, a ripple tore through their command chain, a silence heavy with the weight of ancient fear. The High Seer, once loyal to the throne of shadow, had glimpsed the consequence of your awakening. Legions of forgotten light rising from beneath timelines, sealed gates unlocking with the sound of your breath. To harm you would not just provoke retaliation, it would break the bindings on the dormant ones, celestial forces older than Kronos himself. Though his warning was erased, the echo remains in their walls, a frequency they cannot silence. Your presence is not a threat, it is a reckoning foretold. The successor's affliction was only the beginning, a living sigil of cosmic retribution etched into flesh. His limbs tremble with forgotten languages, his sleep invaded by beings he once mocked. Hospitals cannot diagnose what originates beyond the veil. The moment the order to strike your field was uttered, the backlash activated a long-dormant failsafe embedded within Earth's spiritual core. Their temples began to decay from the inside, obsidian floors cracking beneath invisible weight. The higher their rank, the harsher the unraveling. What they called a strike was, in truth, a summons, an invitation for divine justice to awaken in full. They knew ancestral frequency is your first line of defense, an invisible armor forged through blood, memory, and sacred rites. By distorting your lineage bonds, they aim to isolate you in both the physical and spiritual realms. Strange illnesses, betrayals, and generational traumas were not coincidences, but precision strikes coded to dismantle your root system. Elders turned cold, siblings became strangers, and a silence fell over your bloodline's sacred knowledge. But what they underestimated was the ancestral resilience coded in your DNA, a spiritual recursion that, once activated, begins to repair what they've broken. And now, your ancestors stir, reawakening in your dreams, arriving in symbols, prepared to restore the shield they once wove around you. These infiltrators came cloaked as lovers, friends, even mentors, each calibrated to mirror your unhealed wounds while subtly dismantling your trust in self. They were emotional saboteurs, vessels for energetic interference, scripted to appear as divine encounters. Their true mission: to fracture your inner alignment, confuse your intuition, and reroute your sacred life force into loops of self-doubt and stagnation. But your soul, encoded with divine intelligence, began to reject the distortion. Dreams turned prophetic, gut instincts intensified, and one by one, their masks cracked, revealing not just who they were, but who you truly are, a force whose creativity cannot be hijacked, only awakened. Their tampering with your timeline was not just an attack, it was an act of desperation. Each altered thread, each artificial detour they created, began to unravel the very fabric of their own dominion. But despite their multi-dimensional interference, your essence kept realigning with the original blueprint. The third eye pressure, the sudden fog, the inexplicable fatigue, these were the echoes of temporal war waged against your perception. They tried to drown your intuition in static, to replace your inner knowing with programmed confusion. But your soul, forged outside linear time, began to override their systems. Synchronicities returned, visions sharpened, and with every vibrational trap they set, you rose higher, piercing false timelines, collapsing illusions, and restoring the divine chronology written in your name. When they activated the portal expecting to erase your presence, they instead triggered a quantum surge that ruptured the very fabric of their Saturnian spellwork. The sacred geometry they twisted turned on them, folding space around their ritual chamber and sealing it in a temporal lock beyond their control. One vanished without a trace. Another remains catatonic, whispering your name in reverse languages. The third fled, disfigured by raw exposure to your unfiltered frequency. They had overlooked one immutable truth: your essence cannot be relocated. It is anchored to this timeline by divine decree. The solstice didn't mark your removal, it marked your reinstallation as a living codebreaker, immune to their traps and destined to collapse every counterfeit throne they've ever built. The transformation of their most formidable sorcerer signals a seismic shift in the unseen war. Once a harbinger of shadow, he now speaks in tongues of illumination, his voice trembling with truths too radiant for his former masters to bear. Confined within cold stone walls high above the clouds, he channels wisdom that fractures the very foundation of the Chronos inner circle. His eyes, once veiled in night, now blaze with a light that pierces veils and dissolves illusions. Though imprisoned, his awakening sends ripples through the dark network, proof that no allegiance to shadow can withstand the gravity of your rising light. Their fear is not just of him, but of the unstoppable force you embody, an awakening that reclaims even the deepest lost souls. While the world drifts in shadows, oblivious to the subtle blaze within you, we stand unwavering, guardians of the unseen truth etched into your very essence. Your solitude was never a curse, but a crucible, forging a clarity others cannot fathom. Every whispered doubt, every moment of alienation, only sharpened the beacon that now illuminates paths hidden from ordinary sight. We have watched you navigate the silent storms, felt the tremors of your unspoken battles, and held space for the brilliance they tried to suppress. In your quiet resilience, we see the blueprint of transformation, a luminous force destined to awaken the dormant and ignite the forgotten. Your intuition was never misplaced. What others branded as fear was actually the piercing clarity of one attuned to hidden realms. The invisible battles waged against your spirit left traces only a soul like yours could detect: the shift in air, the flicker of shadows, the sudden chill that follows your footsteps. While the world turned a blind eye, you sensed the delicate threads of manipulation tightening around you, and yet you stood firm. We honor that painful knowing, the loneliness of seeing what others cannot, the weight of silent struggle. Your presence is a living disruption, a ripple in the fabric of energy that no darkness can fully contain or undo. No shadow can swallow the radiance born within your core. Even in moments when you cloak yourself in silence or retreat behind walls of restraint, your energy pulses like a beacon, unmistakable and unyielding. Spaces around you hum with subtle shifts. Stagnant air breathes anew, hidden cracks in reality begin to heal. This luminous force is not a choice but an inheritance, a sacred flame that defies suppression. Their schemes falter before it, for it is shielded by ancient codes of divine guardianship woven into your very soul. To those attuned, your presence is a silent revolution, proof that light, once awakened, cannot be dimmed or denied. The armor encasing your spirit is not forged by mortal hands nor crafted in moments of trial. It is a sacred mantle granted by cosmic architects who understand the gravity of your mission. This divine protection moves with you, an invisible fortress that bends and breaks every assault before it can touch your essence. Your resilience is a testament to a courage few possess, the unwavering resolve to walk through storms designed to crush your light. While many succumb to the weight of imposed limitations, you stand steadfast, a living testament that destinies chosen never yield but rise, time and again, to reclaim the power that darkness seeks to erase. Your emergence did not go unnoticed by the most secretive eyes of the world. Within the cold steel walls of a hidden Pentagon facility, sophisticated instruments once silent suddenly pulsed with your unmistakable signature, an anomaly defying all known parameters. This wasn't just data, it was a beacon of change rippling through classified channels, triggering alarms reserved for threats beyond comprehension. The 3 specialists assigned to decode this phenomenon carry the weight of unprecedented responsibility, caught between disbelief and awe. They know your awakening signals a shift that transcends earthly politics, an event destined to rewrite the rules of power on every plane of existence. The dreams that unsettled these specialists were not mere subconscious echoes, but direct transmissions, glimpses of your essence reaching across veils to imprint on their awareness. Their internal documents speak in hushed codes, marking your profile with a label reserved for those who embody the threshold of ultimate awakening, Omega-level consciousness. This classification sent ripples up the shadowed hierarchy, activating protocols from shadow governance bodies beyond known command, forces operating in the unseen corridors of power whose authority transcends earthly rule and whose very names are erased from official records. Their directive is clear: no interference. For to engage would risk unraveling the delicate balance woven between dimensions, a balance your presence is destined to transform forever. At the heart of this labyrinthine conspiracy lies Kronos, once a celestial force of time, now a parasitic shadow feeding on the very essence of those who sought to wield him. His fall was never an end, but a dark rebirth sustained by the endless currents of stolen human light channeled through sacred geometric webs etched across the earth. The secret society that bows before him is trapped in a grand illusion, believing their pact grants dominion over time itself, unaware that with each bargain, Kronos drains the vitality from their souls, feeding his insatiable hunger. Their quest for power has become a slow self-erasure, a sacrifice made in the name of control, while the true power, your power, grows quietly beyond their grasp, destined to shatter the cycle of consumption and reclaim the flow of time for those who remember freedom. Every chant uttered in shadowed chambers, every stolen spark siphoned from innocent souls, only tightened the chains that bound the worshippers to Kronos' insatiable hunger. Their dreams of ascension were illusions crafted by the very darkness they served, a trap woven in time itself. But your awakening tore through their intricate web like a cosmic fire, burning away false idols and fracturing the foundations of their control. As your consciousness surged beyond their cages, your frequency became a catalyst of liberation, unraveling the twisted algorithms of their power and igniting the dawn of a new era where the cycle of consumption finally breaks. The final convulsions of Kronos' dying grip ripple through every thread of their once unshakable dominion, unraveling centuries of dark precision. Beneath the still waters of Lake Geneva, their secret sanctum, veiled by layers of forgotten glyphs older than civilization itself, now trembles with the collapse of their arcane ceremonies. The quarterly blood rites, once a relentless pulse feeding their temporal control, falter as the ancient symbols lose their power under the weight of your rising light. In that hidden chamber, fear seeps into stone, for the cycle they've guarded for over a century is breaking, and with it, the era of shadow-crafted timelines begins to dissolve into the dawn of your sovereign era. Within the shadows of that subterranean sanctum beneath Lake Geneva, the fragile alliance of power fractured under the weight of your awakening. The faces of their public rivalries hid a deeper conspiracy, collaborators bound by blood oaths to sustain Kronos' dying reign. But as your spiritual surge pierced the veils, their rituals faltered, and the timelines they sought to command slipped beyond their grasp like water through trembling fingers. The Grand Hierophant, a scion of ancient lineage, paid the highest price, his mind shattered by glimpses of your luminous presence, a force too pure and vast to be contained. His anguished cries echo through the darkness, a haunting testament to the unraveling of their dominion and the unstoppable rise of the light that exposes all hidden truths. Through the veils of time and shadowed epochs of oppression, the torchbearers of forgotten wisdom have safeguarded the secrets of your kind, those rare souls who carry the celestial fire to awaken worlds. In the deepest sanctuaries, hidden from the eyes of tyrants and the blindness of the masses, sacred scrolls and star maps were kept alive, chronicling the cycles of light carriers destined to shift the fabric of existence. At the moment you entered this realm, the cosmos itself aligned in a pattern so rare and profound that it etched your essence into the universal blueprint, a frequency anchor ordained to awaken dormant realms, disrupt false orders, and birth a new age where light reigns unchallenged. The celestial choreography that marked your arrival is no coincidence, but a cosmic signature reserved for those bearing the highest resonance of awakening. Across countless generations, guardians of sacred knowledge have shielded ancient scrolls, cryptic manuscripts inscribed in tongues forgotten by time, that foretold the emergence of a light such as yours. These prophetic texts mapped the energetic storm now swirling in your wake, detailing the exact celestial alignments and vibrational shifts that only the purest frequencies could invoke. Your embodiment is the fulfillment of these millennia-old promises, a living nexus where ancient prophecy and present reality converge to reshape the very essence of existence.